What's happening, people? Big up to everyone that's in the house. Welcome back to 12th Man. Welcome back to the Arsenal Roundabout. Make sure you're following today's sponsors. OK Jerseys, code 12 Man, 8% off any shirt, any name and number on the back as well. So go check them out. They've been brilliant to us. So go and show them some love. It's just me and Stricto at the moment. It's not going to be just me and Stricto tonight, but there's a lot of people that are running late. I think Jez is doing a show, and most of the people that are coming on tonight are on that show. So they're overrunning, doing a Christmas quiz. And it's actually been a good watch, to be fair. So go and show Jez some love. The boys will be coming on as well. But me and Strict are going to start the show. We've got D jumping on as well at some point. He said he'd been in around 7-ish. So, yeah, I wanted to do an earlier one tonight, people, because these shows are getting later and later. And you start at 10. Sometimes you don't get off till 12:30. It's crazy. So I wanted to try and do 7 to 8 tonight. Get my boy Strict on. Strict, how you doing, bruv?
Yes, my brother. What are you saying?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Yeah, I've had a good weekend, and Arsenal nearly ruined it, bruv. I can't lie. I thought it was going to be a lot more convincing than that, bruv. I went 2-0, and everyone said that was a little bit too pessimistic, and everyone was saying, shouting fives and sixes at me. But I thought Wolves would make it difficult, but I didn't think it'd be that difficult, man. What's your thoughts on this game, bruv?
Like I've always said with Arsenal this season, I've always felt like our biggest ops, our biggest rivals was ourselves
Yep.
more than anyone else. And I still stand by that. Um, I see how good we can be. I see how consistent we can be. It's like 18 games undefeated. I mean, that's no easy task. Do you know what I'm saying? So I see all of that. And I see even amongst with all that's going around with the injuries and stuff, we are still, doing well, not doing great, but just that night showed me a vulnerable side and perhaps a side that we've seen way too many times over the years, the side that can't control the emotional expectations, you know.
Mm.
Um, you could see a team like Wolves, like you said, like rightly said, other people were like match predictions 4, 5, 6, and 7s. That's what they was expecting, especially seeing Wolves getting slapped by Man United. But for some reason, there was just that freeze that was there, that fear factor. And it's no surprise I'm hearing Giroud saying that over the years at Arsenal, when it comes to these months here, we sort of start falling off, and there's a fear going on. And I don't know whether that historical side has remained at the club, because that was Wenger's team. He's
Mm.
never played under Arteta. And that's something I've always thought. I think there's a mental fragility. And I thought over the years we've fought over that. But I think playing Wolves is a good indicator, because look, we talked about resting players for that game. Remember, we was talking about resting this. God help us, what would have happened if we rested players? And that was us as strong as we could be, with Declan Rice starting, Gyökeres starting, Saka starting, Saliba starting, and yet there was big nerves, bro. Like 10:50, was it 9:55? Was it 9:55? I was at the edge of my chair, Dan,
Hmm.
against Wolves at home. Edge of my flipping chair, bro. So we have a lot to get over, and I really do think what we might benefit from is possibly going into this window and not just signing, maybe a midfielder or adding to the squad. I think we need to actually add someone with experience, someone who's won stuff, like who knows this side of the competition. Like, let's say, for example, like, not saying Jordan Henderson, but someone like a Jordan Henderson, someone like a Xhaka, just someone who's been in and around it that can help with the mentality getting over this period. Because I do feel even if we got back all our players, I still feel this side of the competition is where we falter, because we have got the quality, but possibly not the experience in squad to push us
Mm.
over.
I'll be real. I watched the game and I was very disappointed with how we were playing. I don't think people have put enough credit on Wolves and how they set up. I will say that very first of all, because they sat there coming for something, and fair play to them, because that's all they could do. They know they ain't got the quality to play us off the pitch. I don't think people have spoken about that enough. We have won the game, and it is a little bit pessimistic, the reaction from it. But I can kind of understand why. Nobody can be pleased with that performance. Nobody can. They'll be pleased with the result, like I was. 3 points. Wow, we moved, but come on, man, that performance was really stinky. There was dusty areas of every single part of our pitch. The defense looks a little bit all over the place at the moment due to the fact that it's just chop and change, chop and change, chop and change. Ben White's now injured again. Saliba first game back. Nketiah playing left back, then left centre back. Timber playing right back, then right sided defense, left sided defense. I'm thinking, wow, this defense just looks unsettled because it isn't settled. The department of midfield looks leggy at the moment because Rice and Zubimendi have been running on fumes. And I don't see any creativity at the moment between Eze and Erdegaard. Individually, I don't, and between them, I don't. So I think there's problems at the moment which are staring us in the face. I think everyone can see that. Now, if everyone was fit, we might not be saying the same thing. But I do think that it's fair to say right now, defensively, we've got injuries, and in the midfield, it looks leggy. But I've got to come to the attack next and ask what the hell we're doing, because Saka's the only one really that looks like he's got an idea. Martinelli should have scored a header. Martinelli went through and should have scored, put it wide. And Victor Gyökeres, we need a conversation. Now, the reason I want to talk about a conversation about Gyökeres is because I don't know where to start with this one. I'm being told he's not good. I'm being told that Arteta can't get best out of him. I'm being told Erdegaard and Eze are to blame because they can't create for him. Which one is it? Because they're all three very different things, in my opinion. So all I know is it ain't working for him at the moment. I might have got this one wrong. I wanted Gyökeres. I did. Maybe I've got this one wrong because it doesn't look quite right at the moment for me. But look, I'm not white flagging it and saying, no, we've got a flop. But I could have been wrong about this because I did not expect to see this player. Like the one I was watching was bagging goals, goals, goals. At the moment, it's looking like he's struggling. So where do you stand with this attack at the moment and Victor Gyökeres, Stricto?
I mean, like most of us, I can remember particularly last season, I think it might have been the Bournemouth away where we just couldn't cut chances, and the Victor Gyökeres shouts sort of started to get loud. Like, look, this guy's on fire. He's scoring all sorts of goals. This is the player we need. This is the missing piece. Um, like most people, we stayed up. I mean, I was on your channel many times during the transfer window. Couldn't stop talking about Gyökeres and where the deal was at and why we haven't gotten that deal over the line, and why we getting Madueke when we needed to get Gyökeres first, and then maybe look at if we had change remaining, then maybe look at Madueke. And it's funny that how things have sort of changed, because I want Gyökeres to work. I want any player that will add their contribution, especially with goals. We all know goals win games, but with Gyökeres, I think it's easy to say he's not getting enough chances. It's sort of like a way. It's light to say that, because what the fuck is Mourinho doing when Mourinho jumps on? And what's going on there? He's not even a flipping striker. He seems to be getting in space. He seems to be anticipating where the ball's going to land. He seems to be 1-2-ing with midfield and getting into the right space. So I'm not trying to hear he ain't getting opportunities. I think he is, but I think at this moment in time, the difference between him and Mourinho is Mourinho knows Arsenal at this stage. Mourinho knows, he's been here for a minute. He knows our strengths. And I don't think we should write him off yet. I still think there's a striker in there. In fact, bro, I had to go back yesterday to watch his goals at Sporting, just to get that reminder that this is who we signed, and he's got some quality goals. And yes, a lot of his goals were also penalties, I have to add, but he has scored some really good goals. His positioning, his intent to win the ball in the box, all that kind of stuff. But I think we have to just be patient. I think the positive thing here is, even without his influence directly with goals, we're still scoring goals and we are still winning games, But I think I wouldn't write him off yet, Dan. I still think once he figures this thing out and we figure him out, I think we could be in for a treat,
Look, I hope you're right. Big up to Jenny and big up to Melina. I hope you're both well. Melina, it's been too long. Potsy and Stricto, salute. I've got to be honest Melina. With you. I'm sat there right now thinking that maybe it's me who's the one who's confused, because I can't tell you what the issue is right now. I do think there's something wrong with our attack. When I normally feel like this, it's because it's a little bit of everything. Yeah. So I don't think Arteta has got the best out of the attack. I don't think Gyökeres has been the best. I don't think we've got the best out of Gyökeres in terms of service. I think it's all a little bit of everything. But I tell you what, I do know, I do need to see more from our attacking midfielder and our striker. And whether it's Eze on Erdegaard or whether, of course, it is Gyökeres himself, I need to see more. And in my opinion, we're going to have to see more because this can't stay. Big up to D. Hope you're well, bruv. Make sure you hit like, people. Make sure you hit subscribe. Make sure you're following Stricto Strict and FamZone TV as well, please, people. And make sure you're also checking out the channel merch. Links in the description. If you want one of these hoodies with the Henri on it, if you want one of the mugs with Henri on it, then it is for sale now, and you will get it in time for Christmas. So just click on the link in the pin chat, and of course, link in the description as well. And go and show some love. D, big up to you, bro. We're talking about the attack at the moment. Gyökeres is obviously being mentioned, but the creativity is also being mentioned as well. Eze, Odegaard being mentioned, as well as Victor Gyökeres. And I kind of got a question that I don't know that I know the answer to. Is this attack just not working under Mikel Arteta, or is it the individuals themselves just not being good enough, i.e. Gyökeres? What are we saying, bruv?
You know, it's funny, yeah, because when Eze plays in a 10, we miss Odegaard. When Odegaard plays in a 10, we miss Eze. Yeah, it's mad. Whichever one plays, we miss them. And then, I don't know, it's just really, we've got to be a bit more honest on Gyökeres. I feel like, yes, we haven't provided service. Yes, he hasn't had any clear-cut chances. That's what I would say. But the facts are, for what I have seen, it's like he makes every centre-back look like Van Dijk. He really does. He doesn't win most of his battles. He doesn't hold up the ball that much. Every time he has a battle with someone, he loses the battle. I feel like he's always fighting and losing the battle. He doesn't. He honestly makes Wolves defenders. They're calamity defenders. They're like the old school players, Brambles, and he's making them man look like Lucio. You know what I'm saying? They're stronger than him. They're faster than him. They read the play better than him. I don't know, man. It's we just have to just see it as, you know what? We've got Gyökeres, Havertz, Mourinho, Jesus, different type of strikers, and they're all just part of this piece and this puzzle to try and win the league. That's just how we've got to see it. Instead of looking at it we need Gyökeres to score 30 goals. We need to just play it game by game and player by player who needs to play in this particular game. That's how we need to do it, I think. It's just a squad, and let's just do it like that. Obviously, we're struggling with attack, man. To be honest, our best attack.
Do you know what it is though, D? Just quickly, you say you're struggling in attack. I don't really care if we struggle in attack and Gyökeres doesn't score another goal. If we're lifting the title in May, I couldn't give a damn, right? I really couldn't. Yeah, my problem is we know there's going to be an issue in the attack that's going to probably go down to Arsenal just weren't quite ready this season because their attack didn't click. Now, I hope that ain't the case, but I've seen this before where we've been top and then I see City come and take it from us. And I was looking at the attack back then thinking, yeah, we did well when we scored the most goals we've ever scored and we hit 91 goals. I think it was 89 points and everyone was going mad. We didn't even really have a proper out-and-out striker because Havertz was that guy. I'm looking at the scenario now similarly thinking, I need somebody to be a killer. And I appreciate that Gyökeres has come in and he's done some nice things off the ball and he's linked up play and he's allowed space for Saka, Martinelli and whatnot. But he should be doing that as well as scoring goals because Havertz does that. Mourinho does that. Likewise, Jesus at times does that. But that weren't good enough. Nobody wanted them in, right? They wanted Gyökeres to be the absolute killer. Now, I'm not giving up and waving the white flags, but I am saying the question, I might have got this wrong because I was capping for this guy. I wanted him big time at Arsenal, right? I thought he was going to come in and be the gunman that we all needed to just go, goal, 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 goal. Don't care if you don't do anything else. Actually, he's done everything else but score. And it's the complete opposite of what I needed. So I don't know if the question is Gyökeres ain't that good and we've got a dud, or is the question our system just does not suit him and Arteta might need to tweak it a bit to get the best out of him. I don't know what you boys think about that.
I don't think it's either one of those. I think it's like me and Stricto were talking in the week, and I think this is the first time that Arsenal's not a club or an institution that buys a ready-made player. So this is the first. We've never had Man United have always gone and bought Verons and the Forlans and the old school, the Falcaos, and they don't come to fruition, but you don't know, they go back and they do well. We've never had that before. We've never bought a ready-made player and not know and thinking, oh, this is not the guy or he is the guy. We've never done that before. So this is the first time we've ever bought a guy that we assume is the top guy and thinking that is he really this guy or not. So I'm saying this is the first time we had a player that we think, is he really that guy? Like, we don't know. These guys in the chat are saying Ozil and Aubameyang. We already knew about them. You're not understanding what I'm saying. I'm saying it's the first time we've bought a guy that's the top level that no one actually knows if it's the guy or not. So for Gyökeres, I think, and it's not just Gyökeres, I think Saka's struggling as well.
Yeah.
Saka's struggling as well. And I think Trossard, who we didn't even want to be our first team player, is our best attacker right now. But if we actually break it down, we're criticizing the team and everyone is playing badly, and we're still top of the league. These are the facts. Still 2 points clear, bro. These are the facts. This is what we kind of have to change our mindset to think, you know what? This is what the squad is about. If Gyökeres isn't firing, you play Mourinho. If Mourinho's not firing, you play Jesus. If Jesus isn't firing, you play Havertz. That's what it's about. So, I mean, it's hard to kind of criticize them too much, but top of the league, aren't we? Look,
I said this to a gal earlier. I didn't want it to come across as pessimistic because the top of the Champions League, and I think it's been overlooked how good we've been in that competition, by the way. Don't remember the last time we trounced teams and won all 6, and we are top of the league by 2. I think the problem we've got is the heat ain't really been hot in the kitchen yet, and we've seen Sunderland results, Villa results, and Wolves results. Not Wolves results, Wolves performances, I should say, and obviously going a little bit too cowardly against the likes of Liverpool and City. I'm not saying it's not been a great start, because it has, but they're just my question marks of, we ain't going to bottle this, are we, again? We ain't going to get the pressure get to us again, are we? Because at the weekend, we will be second, because Man City will beat West Ham at home, which means we have to win to go back top against Everton. And when we get to that Everton game, there's going to be heat, people. There's going to be pressure. How are we going to deal with that pressure this time? Are we going to go, oh, we're pathetic, we're rubbish, and go jellyfish? Or are we going to go, no, we're going top. We've got the mentality to do this. I ain't scared of City. We go beat Everton. Don't worry about them. Worry about us. We beat Everton, do our job. We go back top. That's the Arsenal I want to see. And I don't know what one we're going to get, boys. Sorry, Stricto.
Yeah, I mean that's legit. You get what I'm saying? But I think one thing we also need to learn is that the Premier League ain't given to nobody. You got to go and take it. I know you said City are gonna beat West Ham. It's crazy. It's crazy. Like, West Ham go there, and maybe it's not as open for City as it is. I'm not at the conclusion where I think City. I know historically they've done what they do, but for some reason I'm not feeling that City hype as they used to do. Bar Pino and his flipping left foot, they go down against Palace, and I don't see a way back for them. But those are the margins. City are able to capitalize, but. What I want to see actually this season is what you just said. Do we have the mentality of actually going from second and saying, all right, cool, we have to go to Everton and stick it on them and leave here with nothing but 3 points, even if the performance isn't shit, but to leave there with 3 points, well, no matter how, don't care how, we just have to leave there, and that's what I want to see. Obviously, we've built a gap for ourselves over these few months, which is what we're still living off of. We're still profiting from that gap. It's closing, it's getting tighter, but at this stage and at this moment in time, we're still the leading team, and City have to catch us. So City have to do what they have to do. And we got to do what we've been doing, which is sticking away, jabbing, keeping our distance. Now, I just do think, like I said earlier, if we talk about Gyökeres, I couldn't give a shit if Gyökeres ends up with 30 goals, 5 goals, 2, whatever. I can't give a shit. We scored 91 goals a couple seasons ago without Gyökeres. We had Havertz up front. And then last season, I think we scored 69 or 70 goals. And, again, without Gyökeres. So I think what a lot of people are trying to get to right now is the whole, Arteta isn't getting him at his best. I'm sorry. What the fuck is Mourinho doing scoring goals anytime he gets an opportunity? Like, I'm not even trying to even hear that. I'm not trying to hear that. You're in the Premier League, yeah? And I'll tell you something as well, Dan. He comes across like a player who pays attention to the noise. If you remember the goal he scored, was it against Forest, when he then started doing his hair? Yeah, so he pays attention to the noise. Now the noise is gonna be louder than then. So I need to know: are you someone who can switch off from the noise and just get on with it on the pitch? Stop all of this social media trends. I mean, they're excellent when you're scoring, but when you're not scoring and you're hearing the noise that's going around on social media, then that's where the issue is. Block all of that, get on the pitch, do what Mourinho's doing, yeah? Because Mourinho ain't a striker. You are. You're the gunman. You're stronger. You've got all the positional sense, the IQ of a striker. So why the hell are you struggling? You know, sometimes I think he works too hard. People saying we signed this guy to be at the finishing end, but I think he works too hard in that final third. Works way too hard in that final third. Do all your work in the box. The balls come in the box. If that's what you're trying to do, get in the box. If you're trying to be a striker who does everything from outside the box, then get in position. Get yourself in a place where your back's not to goal, you're ready to receive and let it off. Right now is none of the two, you know. But I'm not going to jump on the whole it's Arteta, it's Arteta, because I feel like, what the fuck? Why is Arteta getting it out of Mourinho and he's not getting it out of this guy? I don't understand. And another player who's gone on the radar as well is Eze. Eze is another one who isn't doing what I expect him to do, considering he's been in the Premier League for, for the last 5-6 years. He knows what the Premier League's about. He knows what's expected of him. And I think in some games, he's just floating. No one's denying his quality.
Do you not think, though, Strick, just quickly, do you not think that he did that at Palace, though?
I didn't watch him enough at Palace. I watched highlights.
I didn't watch him at Palace, but I speak to Palace guys, and they said, yeah, it's a shame he's going, but he will only turn up about 7 games for you. And I'm like,
I watch highlights.
That won't happen.
Yeah, I watch highlights of him. You know, and every highlight I watch of him looked nice. You know, so I didn't even speak to Palace fans like that, but I just assumed, and plus I've seen him play against Arsenal, and every time he plays against Arsenal, he seems to turn up. You know, he seems to be attacking, but one thing he neglects is his defensive duties, and I've said that. If you're going to play for Arsenal, you have no superstars in this team. Everybody has to put in a shift. Don't give a fuck who you think you are, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And that's the part that I don't see from him. Yes, you might not influence the game going forward, but then surely have your wits about you defensively. So I think the issue we're having right now is that City can have a Foden who can rise up now, Shirky who's rising up, Reinders who's rising up. We only have literally 1 or 2 players at best at this moment who are rising up. And that's what our main issue is right now, is that we don't have enough players who are willing to take on that mantelpiece or willing to drag the team forward. And at this precise moment right now, that's the issue we're struggling with.
Yeah.
Big up to Brandon. How you doing, my bro? Hope you're good. Thanks for jumping on, man. You've been listening in, man. What do you want to say, bro?
I'm not having this narrative about Gyökeres and it's not Arteta. I'm not having that. I'm not having that at all.
What we need to do first before we get on to that is go on. Do you still think we should have rested Rice and Saka for Wolves? Because you're talking about the wrong thing. You need to focus on that.
Focus on what?
Do you think we should have still rested Saka and Rice for Wolves?
Yeah, 100%.
So you think we would have won the game if they weren't playing?
Yeah, 100%.
You think we would have won the game if Saka and Rice weren't playing against Wolves the other day?
Yeah, 100%. Let me tell you why. Right? Noni Madueke scored 2 goals in midweek. Good performance. And what's his reward for that? You sit on the bench, sunshine. We won't even bring you on. Hang on. We won't even bring you on when we need a goal and when we need something to happen in the game, right? Now, I'm not saying that Saka had a poor performance because Saka was probably our best player, arguably, right? However, for me, if a player's performing, yeah, you're supposed to give him game time. There's no reason why Noni Madueke couldn't have started that game ahead of Saka. If anything, his performance in midweek probably deserved him to start that game. If Madueke had started that game, I still think we would have won the game anyway. Because the thing that Madueke would have given us that Saka doesn't is he would have drove players, which would have moved that 10 man behind the ball about a little bit more. So yeah, Saka did turn up and Saka did his thing, but I still think if you replace Saka with Noni, based on his performance that he gave in midweek as well, and what he can do and what he offers on that wing, I still think we wouldn't have really seen a massive difference. And I think we made a mistake playing Declan Rice. I personally think the issue that we had, especially in that first half, was Arsenal were camped outside Wolves' box with them playing 10 men behind the ball. We didn't have enough creativity in that midfield. We should have played Odegaard and Eze together. So that's what I would have done. I would have played Odegaard and Eze together in that midfield alongside Zubimendi, and I would have rested Rice, and I would have rested Saka, and I would have given Noni Madueke his chance, which he fully deserved from his performance midweek. That's what I would have done.
I'm not saying. I'm going to say. I don't think. I'm going to say this. That last show, you did say drop Saka. Saka was essentially won us the game, whichever way you want to look at it. Yeah. Now, going to your point about dropping Noni, Martinelli had a good game in that game. He started against Wolves and was absolute dog shit. Yeah. So you can't take away and say, well, he should have started Noni because Noni had a good game. He started Martinelli. Martinelli was shit. So it wasn't a case of it was just one change. It was a case of when are you going to put the responsibilities, not just on the manager, but also on the players?
No, 100%. The players have to hold accountability for the performance. I'm not denying that one little bit. Yeah, you're right. He started Martinelli after his goal during midweek, but we know with Gabriel Martinelli that he has one good performance and then about 10 shit performances. That's just how Martinelli has worked for the past couple of years at Arsenal. It's a bit different with Madueke because for me, Madueke is a confidence player. And Madueke, after scoring 2 goals and essentially winning us the game against Bruges, because he was the best performing player, in my opinion, if you've got a player performing, then you keep playing him. You keep playing him. Unfortunately, with Arteta, I see he has his favourites, and I'm not saying that he's wrong to play Bukayo Saka week in, week out. I'm not saying that. But what I don't like is the favouritism around some of these players, because essentially that is what is happening right now. Odegaard.
Saka was our star man. That's not a favourite.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Star man. He takes off Saka. He took off Saka against Newcastle when we was losing. He took off Saka against Man City. I don't think it's a case of favourites. I think he trusts who brings the work, who does the work, and we can't deny the players who fans say quote unquote are his favourites just happen to be the ones who are the ones who pull every time for us. I don't think it's a favourites. Favourites would be do you remember the time when he had Willian? And I thought that was a favourite. Like, he was dropping Pepe over Willian. Willian wasn't producing. Willian wasn't producing for us, and he just kept playing him over Pepe.
Okay. Let me ask you this: is Odegaard a favourite?
Odegaard's the captain.
The captain.
He might, but he might well be the captain. But in case I'm missing something,
okay, let's do this.
Doesn't have to play every single game. It just seems very ironic to me how Odegaard comes back from injury, and he slots straight back into the team. To me, it shouldn't work like that. To me, it is Arsenal Football Club, a big football club like Arsenal. If you're a player that is performing and you've done your job in the game, like Madueke did, for example, then you deserve to start the next game. If you then don't perform, then you're dropped for the following game. The problem that we have is we've got some players that are underperforming at the moment or are not quite at the level, yet they continue to play week in, week out. And even when the players come off the bench and do the job, or do the job when we rotate the side, they always end up back on the bench. And I was very, very, not just disappointed to see Madueke not start the game, but the fact that he was an unused sub in that game as well, to me, was a disgrace. It was a disgrace. And I'm not a big Madueke fan. I didn't want Madueke at Arsenal, believe it or not. But I'm just saying that for me, if a player's performing, then you play them.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
But again, a player's performing in one. A player performs in one game, has a good game. This is like you said. This is a big team. This is a big squad. Yeah, you have to be consistent. Madueke hasn't been consistent. He scored against. I think his first goal was against Bayern. Right before that, I know he was injured, but before that, We know his quality going forward, but he's no end product. There's just no end product. I think with Arteta, he knows who he trusts, and I don't think it's a favoritism thing. Now, let's go to Odegaard, yeah? There is something that Odegaard does that I'm yet to see from Eze or anyone who plays that. That is his pressing game. He sets us off at the front foot. We're able to collect the ball up higher and create problems or create opportunities for opportunities. I don't see that from Eze. I just don't. And until Eze starts pushing those metrics that you can see Arteta likes, then possibly he will start making a case for that role. Because right now, I can't say for certain I think Eze is better at what is better at what Odegaard does at the team. Yes, he has the quality, he has great qualities. We all know that. That's not denying, and that's not what I'm saying here. What I'm saying, to be practical with it, in the Arsenal sense, in the Arsenal way. You're no longer at Palace where you're gonna have fucking Will Hughes doing all the running for you and getting the ball to you. You've got to do the running as well. That's how it works. That's how it's been working. You think about the last game we played away to Burnley. Burnley on the counter. Look how many men were chasing back. We're 2-0 up, 94th minute. So there's a change that he needs to adapt to as well, equally. But when I hear this rhetoric of, it just annoys me because it's boring. It's the same old talk. It's Arteta. COVID, Arteta. Flipping World War II, Arteta. Like, I don't understand it. Like, I will listen to logic. I will reason with it. But when we start hearing certain things, it's like, bro, Ruben Amorim, who was Gyökeres' manager, is at Man United. Can't get the best out of what he's got there at Man United, which is better than what Arteta inherited, by the way. He can't get the best out of what he's got there. That's the manager that got Gyökeres most of his goals under his stewardship. So it's easy to point, but what's Amorim doing over there?
I'm not interested in what Amorim's doing. I'm interested in Arsenal. I'm interested in
Amorim, but I'm using Amorim is linked to Gyökeres. So if we're going to say, well, Arteta's he's not using him right. What the fuck is the guy who was using him right doing? What's he doing now?
Yeah, but he hasn't got Gyökeres at Man United.
He's got good players at Man United. He's got a good team at Man United. He's got Cunha. He's got great players at Man United.
Mm-hmm.
One game a week. Can't get the best out of them. Yes, I'm not interested in Man United. I make the point just to make the Gyökeres point. Yes, I don't care. I don't give a fuck what's going on over there. But what I'm saying is essentially the person who was getting him to purr at Sporting can't get nothing done over there. So let's not just point at it's Arteta. Arteta can't get the best of it. What the fuck is Mourinho doing? Jesus comes on 15 minutes against Bruges. Hold on a second. Jesus comes on 15 minutes against Bruges. Has done more than Gyökeres has done.
Yeah. No, but again, this is where, right, you have to accept the logic of why the manager is to blame for this, right? You have to accept this, right? Jesus is not a natural number 9. We knew that when we brought him in from Manchester City, right? He's not a natural striker. He was more of a winger converted to a striker. Havertz is not a natural striker. He's more of a midfielder converted to a striker. Same with Mourinho, right? And them 3 players, along with Lacazette, previous to this as well, right? Them 3 players like to drop deep. They like to link up play. Their first touch is decent. They can bring others into play. Gyökeres' weakest part of his game is his first touch and his hold-up play. But what Gyökeres will give you is if you get that guy in the right places of the pitch, I'm not talking coming deep on the halfway line like what I see him doing against Wolves, to try and link up, man. I'm talking about getting this guy in the box and giving him the ball in the box, or essentially giving him the ball over the top. I haven't seen Arsenal try and do that once.
That's a lie, bro. That's a flipping lie. That's a big lie. That's a big lie. Think about what you just said for a second. Think about that for a second.
Do me a favor. After this, have you got? I'm assuming you got Twitter.
Ish. I don't use it.
Right. Yeah. Do me a favor. After this, go on Twitter, type in Troops. Yeah, because Troops shared this clip. Big up Troops. There is a clip from the Wolves game where Odegaard receives the ball in the middle of the pitch. Gyökeres makes a run towards the middle, through the middle, towards the right.
Oh, that wasn't against Wolves.
Yeah,
that
the
was
defender-
against. That was in the
No, that
Champions
was
League, I
against
think.
Wolves. That was against Wolves at the weekend.
Okay.
Yeah, he makes the run through the middle. He's on the shoulder of the defender. He makes the run through the middle, going towards the right-hand side. The defender follows him. He corrects that run and starts moving towards the left. Odegaard sees the run, does not play that pass, and plays it out wide to Martinelli, who slows the game down.
Okay, and then my rebuttal for that is against Preston, or was it Port Vale we played this season?
Yeah,
Max
that's
Dalman.
fine, man.
You hold on. You just I can. There's more than once. Max Dalman puts him in through one goal.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck does he do then?
Yeah, but again,
There's many examples. That's just one. That's just one. There's many examples. There's many examples. So answer that one then. Why didn't he back that against Port Vale, Championship side, or wherever the fuck they are? Why did he back that?
Let me give you a stat. Right?
Okay.
Let me give you a stat, because I didn't even know this. This was a stat that somebody else had given me, right, from the other day. So apparently, in terms of XG or created XG, right? For Gyökeres at Arsenal, we have created 4.5 XG, expected goal chances. Haaland has 15.8 expected goal chances. Big difference there. Massive difference there. Now, it doesn't matter what striker you have. You could have the greatest striker in the world. Let's just look at Haaland, for example. Haaland will miss chances, right? Haaland has missed chances. But the difference is you give Haaland that ball 5 times in that area throughout the game, he will probably score 3 goals. The problem with Gyökeres and what we have with Gyökeres is he'll probably only get the ball once in that area. And then if he misses, he misses, but we're not getting him that ball in that area enough. We're not getting him that ball in that area enough. There was a half chance against Wolves, right, where we actually got him in the right area, where the ball come to him on the chest, he spun his defender and had a weak shot across goal, right? But we don't get that guy in that area enough. He's trying to do this link-up play that Mourinho does and that Havertz does, which essentially tells me that he's trying to adapt his game to how we play, which he definitely should do, right? But we've not tried to adapt the way that we play to make our game suited to playing with a natural striker, right? Who's going to receive the ball in the box. Imagine this, right? Imagine if Arsenal had Lukaku in this team. Would you want Lukaku dropping into midfield and picking up that ball and trying to link up with man? No, you wouldn't, because his first touch is awful, right? And essentially the weakest part of his game is the weakest part of Gyökeres' game. However, if you get Lukaku in the box in the right areas, he'll score you 20 to 25 goals. Gyökeres is very much the same thing. You just have to get him in the right areas, and it's down to the manager and essentially the players to move that ball quicker, yeah, and get him in the right spaces and actually give him the ball. The problem that we have at the moment is another problem. We don't move that ball quick enough at all. Against Wolves, we'd get ourselves into situations and then we'd slow it down. Like, there was a free kick. I think this was when we was 1-0 up. There was a free kick on the right-hand side, and rather than putting the ball in the box, Declan Rice played a square pass to Odegaard and it ended up all the way back at David Raya. Why? What is the point in doing that? We're always recycling this ball all the time.
Let me understand this, bro. So it seems to me, for you lot, Arteta agenda, you would rather Gyökeres score 20 goals than Arsenal score 20 goals. So you'd rather it be Gyökeres' 20 goals than the whole team pull and get 20 goals. Is that what?
Cool. I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because the thing that I'll point to, right, is we know what type of striker Arteta wants. Arteta wants this striker who's going to drop deep, link up play, do all of this. That's why he likes Havertz. That's why he likes Mourinho playing there. That's why essentially he liked Lacazette playing there up front rather than Aubameyang. Aubameyang being a natural goal scorer in front of goal, you would think that he would put him up front, but he didn't. He put him out on the left-hand side because he's not very good at that link-up play, hold-up play sort of thing. Lacazette was a much better player at that.
Emery did the same. Emery did the same.
However, right?
Don't forget that Emery did the same.
Yeah, but Emery also plays a different. It's slightly different with Emery because Emery tends to play 4-4-2 more than a 4-3-3 or a 4-3 or 4-1-2 or whatever it is that we kind of set up in. So Aubameyang ends up in them positions centrally anyway, which is why he won the Golden Boot two seasons running, right? Whereas with Arteta, Aubameyang was predominantly out on the left-hand side and Lacazette was doing the striker's role and linking up play. The problem is, right, is we know Arteta likes that kind of striker. But essentially, when you look at the evidence, right, having that type of striker has won us nothing. It's won us nothing. Last season, I'll give you an example, right? Last season, we wasn't in a title race. And the reason why we wasn't in a title race was because we drew 14 games. However, we still had the best defensive record in the league. So the defence was never a problem. It was the fact that we drew too many games because we wasn't scoring enough goals. Hence why I wanted Gyökeres at Arsenal. Because I'm thinking, okay, if you get that natural striker who can guarantee you goals, then we could turn some of these draws into wins because defence wasn't a problem. It's like with Man City, right? Before a ball is even kicked at the beginning of the season, we all know that Erling Haaland is scoring 25 to 30 goals minimum. We know that for a fact. However, you can look at this Arsenal team and say, right, who's going to be your top goal scorer this season? And all of us can sit here and say, well, we don't actually really know because it might be Saka, it might be Trossard, it might be this player. But then if that player doesn't turn up, or you have a handful of players that don't turn up or don't do the business, then essentially you're screwed. Which is why
that can be said for most teams. If you look outside of Man City and Liverpool, it's either going to be Haaland for City and Salah for Liverpool.
That's why the other teams don't win.
Salah has fallen off. You're right. Salah has fallen off. But the thing is, right, is we've got to look at who we're competing with. Now, we are competing with Man City and Liverpool. And essentially over the last 2 years, Haaland's still doing the business now, but essentially over the last 2 years, they have a player each which guarantees them goals. Arsenal don't have that, right? We don't have a player that guarantees us 20 to 30 goals, which is why essentially we felt the need to bring in a striker who guarantees us goals. And now it's up to the manager to get the best out of that striker. And we're not getting the best out of that striker because we're not set up to get the best out of that striker.
Let me ask you this question.
To make the adjustments.
Let me ask you this question. So in training, they're working on the system, they're working on the game before, and they're going through strategy and stuff. So are you telling me Arteta sits there and Gyökeres sits there and they basically say, well, we're not going to play to your strength. We're going to do this, we're going to do that. And basically sets himself up to fail. Is that what you're telling me happens? Or is it possible that Gyökeres just hasn't fitted in because it's a new league, a new teammate, and most importantly, you're joining a team who has a club who has pressure to deliver this season? So is it possible or inconceivable that might have got to him? And maybe that's why he's not performing.
What striker has clicked under him?
I think, I'll be honest with you, I think all three things that you just said, Stricto, could be true. Yeah, I think they are all elements. I think the biggest element, though, is Arteta didn't want Gyökeres. I can tell you all that now for a fact. Arteta wanted Cesc because Cesc can do that, hold up play, bring people into play, etc., etc. And I guarantee you right now that if we had Cesc in this team, if we'd had signed Cesc instead of Gyökeres, we'd probably be getting better performances out of Cesc because we're set up to play to Cesco's strengths. We're not set up to play to Gyökeres' strengths. So it is up to the manager to make the adaptations. Yes, you're right, Stricto. It's a new league, it's new teammates, and it takes time to, kind of get into that. But I'm seeing a lot of Arsenal fans that are giving up on Gyökeres already, and I'm like, why? Why? Because
let me come in quickly, Brandon, because you and
just real quick though, Dan. Just real quick, right? Arteta told us that we had to give Kai Havertz 50 games before we could judge him. So the very least that these Arsenal fans can do is give Gyökeres the same. Because as Stricto just said, new league, new teammates, new way of playing, new etc. etc. But I'm sitting here all day long and saying we can get the best out of this guy. He scored goals for fun for the past 2 years. I know it's a totally different league, but if you're telling me that this guy don't know where the back of the net is, he clearly does. He's shown that. But we need to get him in the right positions. We need to move the ball quicker. We need to stop with this slow, lethargic, allowing teams to reset. We need to start playing to Gyökeres' strengths and getting him in the right positions in front of goal, and then you'll get the best out of him. And then essentially we've got our own goal scorer that we can look at the beginning of every season and say, right, he's getting 20 goals. Where's the other goals coming from around this team? Because essentially, right, at the moment, if we don't win this league, we're going to be looking back on this and going, did we get the best out of our star striker that we signed? No. Who won the league for Man City? Oh, Erling Haaland again, because he guaranteed them goals.
Okay. So what you've just said there, Brandon, is essentially what I did a video on a couple of days ago, is have I got this one wrong? Maybe I have. Maybe it's a bit of both. Is it a system problem? Is it Gyökeres? I think it's a bit of both, if I'm honest. I think Gyökeres does need to do more. I don't look at Gyökeres and think, there's nothing more that guy can do. It's literally just a system problem. At the same time, I do believe that Arteta, and I've said this for a long time, can't get the best out of his nines. Let me just do these supers and I'll bring D and the guys in. Big up to Shane, Jez and Kenny. I was actually gutted that I started at 7 because I was enjoying your quiz, Jez, by the way. But most of you beat me, so well done. If you haven't checked it out, go and check out Jez's quiz because it was quality. Buzz Cagney says it's obviously the system with the two. Louis says Erdegaard's made 0 passes to Gyökeres in 60 minutes. I mean, we've got to talk about him, guys, by the way, because I don't know what we're seeing from Odegaard. I've got to be honest, it's disappointing is an understatement. Martin says Shane, Jez, and Kenny, big up. Speak up to Suj, absolute legend. He says, big up Dan, panel and chat. Hit the likes and subscribe. Currently, our strategies are not tailored for powerful strikers. The system is slow and rigid. Let me come to you first, D, and then I'll come to the guys. I don't really know that I like a lot about our attack at the moment. I like some of the individuals. I don't think that's the problem, D. I've got to be honest. I'm a big fan of Saka, and I think the guy actually gets a hell of a lot of disrespect. Although I don't think he's been anywhere near his best, I do think he's trying, and I do think he's delivering still. Trossard has been our best attacker this year. I think that's fair. Martinelli's been hit and miss. Madueke's been okay, but I think some people are massively overhyping some of the games he's had, but I do think he's been good in some. Gyökeres, Jesus, obviously. And we've got Mourinho. I've got to be honest, I think the system works, but this system, whether you like it or not, works better with Mourinho because he's that kind of drop-off false nine. And that makes me think that maybe it is more of a system thing than a Victor Gyökeres thing. But I'd love to get your thoughts, and I'd love to ask your opinions on the actual creativity, which points towards Eze and Erdegaard, because I don't think that's been on point either, D. I've got to be honest, bro.
Yeah, I hear that. My thing is, like, we're having conversations about individuals, or do we want the best for the team? Like, does it really matter whether it's Gyökeres scoring or Mourinho? Does it really matter whether Eze's playing or Odegaard? Does it? These guys are all part of the team. I don't think it actually matters. The only time it matters is if everyone is not performing at the same time, which is currently feeling like it's happening. Trossard's the only player that's really playing to his potential. So, but I don't think it really matters whether if Mourinho's playing better than Gyökeres, then Mourinho plays and scores goals. If Havertz is playing better, then Havertz plays. Like, at the end of the day, this is what the whole point of having a squad is for, is to you utilize your squad. And a lot of people were complaining about Gyökeres. Like, Arsenal are not going to change their whole system to suit Gyökeres when we're top of the league. It doesn't make sense. Why would we choose? This system that you were criticizing has got us top of the league and top of the Champions League. So why would we change it currently to suit Gyökeres when right now we're top of both leagues? I don't understand the need for change when we're winning games. I don't get the point that we're making here. I don't really understand how there's got so much of this. We need to change this and we need to change that, and we need to suit this guy and suit that guy when we're top of the league. Well, I don't.
Do you think it's been? Do you think that's sustainable? How we're playing at the moment? The last 5 games has been pretty dusty in parts. The last time I thought we played really well with Spurs. That was a long time ago now, D.
Brentford was comfortable. That was after Spurs.
Yeah, it was comfortable, but I don't know if we were great.
That game we rested half the team.
Can I just ask a point here, Dan?
Yeah, go on, mate.
If there's a system that's not working that well, then you need to change it, D.
Say that again. Sorry, I didn't catch what you said.
If the system that you've just said don't need to change, if it's not actually working, then you need to change it.
What do you class as not working, though? When you say it's not working, what do you class as not
Being
working?
7 points clear 3 weeks ago and now being 2 points clear.
We were never 7 points clear.
I'll give you an example. So every time we face a low block, every time we face 10 men behind the ball, we play the same way and we struggle to break it down.
We couldn't win against Wolverhampton Wanderers by scoring a goal.
Oh, come off it, man.
What do you mean?
What are you talking about? 3 goals. 2 goals needed to win that game. What?
Who scored the goals then?
Hold on. Man City played Burnley. Do you know who Man City's top second scorer was prior to a couple games ago? 2 own goals. Didn't hear you talking about that. 2 own goals. It's part of football. Own goals happen. Do you know why it happens? Because of pressure. You put pressure on the defense. They get it wrong. That's what happens. Own goals don't happen because the player kicked it half from the halfway line into his own goal.
And you're accepting that failure because
how's it failure? How is it failure?
Because Arsenal couldn't score a goal, man.
The Arsenal won the game. Talk about that.
Or a goal to the
did we lose the game?
No.
So is this the attitude then that if we suddenly drop off the top of the league, then we change the system? Is it, or do you nip it in the bud before it becomes a
change a whole system mid-season?
Tweak the system.
Hold on a second. The system that has got you top of the table in your league and top of the table in Europe.
Wait, what's this shit? So let me ask a question here. When you say change the system, do you want to change the system in the Champions League?
Wait.
Answer this question, yeah? So you want to change the system in the Premier League because you think we haven't been good last few games? Would you change the system in the Champions League? Wait. Let me ask a question. Sorry. Would you change the system in the Champions League as well, where we've won every single game? We're comfortable.
No, hang about. If you
I change the system because I think we can do better. So you
would change the system in the Champions League.
I would tweak the system. I keep saying tweak. Tweak is tweak. It's different to change the system.
In the Champions League, that's beaten Bayern Munich, beaten Atletico Madrid 4-0, beaten Club Brugge with our second team.
It's the same system that won it last year. That didn't win it the year before. No, it's not 2 different things. It's the exact same thing.
Hang on a minute. Right. So you're telling me a manager cannot have 2 different systems? Are you telling me that?
We've got 2 different systems. A minute ago, we were a defensive team.
How many systems does Pep have?
About 3.
How many systems does Pep have?
3.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does.
No, he doesn't. Pep has one. Pep has one system.
Hang on. No.
What are you talking about? Pep has one system.
Pep plays inverted wingers. He came up against Palace at the weekend. He went for same-footed wingers because they play 3 at the back. He tweaked
Pep
it.
has one system. Pep has one system. You're talking shit. Sorry, bro. You're talking shit.
By the way, hang on.
Pep has one system.
Your point about Europe, by the way, doesn't stand. Because Europe and Premier League are 2 different things altogether. You're not going to come up against a team in Europe that is going to park 10 men behind the ball. The reason why we need to tweak our system is because a lot of teams, especially the teams lower down the league, are going to sit 10 men behind the ball against Arsenal because they know that is probably their best chance of beating us. You're not going to get that in Europe. So the way we're set up to play in Europe is absolutely fine. But we do need to tweak this system because we need to be able to break.
Okay, so what should we tweak? Let me ask you, look, what should we tweak?
We need to get our striker into the game more. We need to get Gyökeres in the game more.
We need to give our 10s freedom.
Yeah, 10s freedom. Again, this brings me to the point about Eze real quick. I'm going to shut up after this because I've got to go in a minute, right? Brings me to the point about Eze real quick. I don't know what's happened to Eze since he's come into Arsenal. Again, there's the adjustment period and everything else. But I watched Eze at the weekend. He looked like the Black Odegaard. Yeah, every time you get the ball, safe pass, safe pass, safe pass.
Strict instructions.
The Eberechi Eze that I see at Crystal Palace would pick up that ball and drive at players. Not once have I seen him try and do that for Arsenal. Because we're so frit of losing the ball. Everything that we do is about retain the ball, retain the ball, retain the ball, which is why he plays all these safe passes all the time. I'm telling you now, Eze, when Eze was playing against Wolves, he reminded me of Odegaard. And then Odegaard come on for Eze and did exactly the same thing. There was no change.
So
that
that's Arteta, right?
Yeah, it is, because he needs to be given the freedom to do what
Let's
he
just
needs
play
to
like
do.
Crystal Palace. Let's play like Crystal Palace. Let's get our system to play like Crystal Palace. Let's shoot Eze.
Why are we bothering, fam? A minute ago, yeah. When Arsenal was so defensive and only scored from set plays, everyone was complaining that we only won games from set plays, man. And that's a completely different system to what. Nah.
Yeah, and now, hang on, now set plays have dried up. Now set plays have dried up. Yeah, because Gabriel's not there no more. Set plays have started to dry up a little bit now, and now we're seeing just how poor we are going forward with our attack. Now, that's always been an issue with Arsenal and facing low blocks. It always has been. The last time it wasn't an issue was back in 21-22 when we played that free-flowing football, went 8 points clear, and then we got an injury to Saliba and ended up having to bring in Rob Holding, right? So why can't we play like that again? I'm not saying all the time. I'm just saying for certain games. Why can't we play that free-flowing football anymore? What's changed? Why are we so robotic on the pitch now? What's all that about? Because we can do it. These players have showed us that they can play free-flowing football. They did it. They did do it. So how is that? Are you telling me that's not Arteta? Of course it's Arteta.
Brother, you got to realise, to compare what Eze was allowed to do at Crystal Palace and compare what he has to do at Arsenal are two completely different things, positionally, psychologically, and mentally. Yeah, Eze at Crystal Palace, you can do what you like at Crystal Palace. The expectation isn't there. You come to Arsenal.
Yeah, but is that not the reason why we wanted to? Is that not the reason why we wanted to sign him, though, Stricto? Because
we wanted to sign him because of his ability to play. His ability to play football is unquestionable. But there's a responsibility at Arsenal he didn't have at Crystal Palace.
But Eze at Palace, right? We can agree. Eze at Palace stood out. Eze at Palace would single-handedly go and win them games. I've seen it obviously against Tottenham where he won us the game, but we've yet to see that on a consistent basis where he's having these shots. Like, the reason why we were so interested in getting Eze in is because he's a different profile of midfielder, a creative midfielder, to Odegaard. You know, like I said, he hasn't got the greatest passing ability, Eze. He's got good passing, but not to the ability that Odegaard has got. But he will pick up the ball. He will drive at players. He will make players move positionally. However, in the last couple of weeks, I can't deny I've seen that slowly starting to be coached out of him, because at the weekend I saw him again look like Odegaard. Safe pass.
Okay, so we pick at the players who are not performing and we slap that onto the manager. Okay, let's talk about players who are performing. Why are they performing if the same manager can restrict other players' ability to play football? Why is it the same manager? Why is other players performing? Let's, for instance,
other players like who though?
Trossard.
Go on.
Trossard.
Yeah. He seems to be performing. It doesn't seem like nothing's been coached out of him. Trossard wants to take on his players. Funny enough, the same position that Martinelli's on without the pace. He wants to take on his players. Wants to put balls in the box. Sometimes want to put eye in the needle passes. Right. So what's Arteta not doing with him? Is it because Trossard is stubborn and doesn't listen to the manager's instruction on limiting his ability to play football? Can you give me the answer? Any of you bottom gooners, give me the answer.
Trossard's a better footballer than Martinelli, period.
Is Trossard a better footballer than Eze?
No.
Well, don't answer me this then. How come when Eze was playing in the Champions League out the left and Arteta bollocked him for drifting inside? Remember that was going around. That went viral that he's bollocked him for drifting inside.
Yeah, but that's you lot pushing. That's you lot pushing narratives.
Hang on.
Is you bottom gooners pushing narratives?
hang on. The very next game, Trossard started out the left, and he was anywhere but the left wing. Nothing was said to him.
Because he's not better than Trossard on the left wing. He's not better than Trossard on the left wing.
No, he's not. He shouldn't be playing there at all. That's down to the manager. Why is he playing him left wing?
Hold on a second. You lot have screamed that he's a left winger. We put this guy on the left.
No. We have fully denied that Eze should ever play out. There was a gal that turned up with his heat maps saying that he's a left wing because he was laying the groundwork because he knew this manager would play him out of position. He should play in the 10 with total freedom, like he was given against Tottenham. Why was that suddenly stopped? Why would you stop
hold on. So a player should join Arsenal and we should just stop a system that has worked so well for us.
Really?
And untrust the system.
It hasn't.
Sorry?
The system has failed completely. We haven't won anything with it.
Well,
how does it work? We haven't won anything.
Hold on a second.
So surely you get a player to improve.
Hold on a second.
If you want
the same system has got us going into Champions League, a competition that we was out of for about 8 seasons. It's got us there, sitting on top. The same system has got us finishing, narrowly missing out on the Premier League. Yeah, the same system.
Yeah, that's all I hear. We didn't win. So we need to improve. Why would you keep flogging a dead horse? Why would you keep doing the same thing that hasn't worked over and over and over again? That's the sign of insanity. Surely you get in a new player and go, you give us something different because we need that extra little bit to get over the line. Now, do you know what? You just become a new Odegaard and I'll play you at a position and I'll injure you just like I've been doing last season. I'll do it all again. Same thing again. We'll fall.
You lot are your narratives, man. You lot are your narratives.
That's not a narrative. It's
you lot got some
deep happening. It's all happening
deep narratives, man. Deep narratives. I heard this narrative when we was top of the table. We're still top. It's crazy, yeah. I've had to look at the table to see where we was. I can't believe we're first the way you lot are going on.
Yeah, well, I'm coming over for the parade next week for the top of the table in fucking December.
Where were we?
We were 7 points clear of 3 weeks ago, man.
When Unai Emery left?
Where were we?
Where were we?
No, you tell me. Where was we?
5th.
Right.
5th.
Okay.
Where did Emery get? Where did this fucking clown get us in the first season?
Emery.
No, Arteta.
He got us an FA Cup with your Emery.
No, where did we?
No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. He got us a cup with the Emery.
Shut up and let me finish your big mouth.
You shut up.
No, I won't shut up.
You shut up.
Fucking telling me what I'm going to do. Right,
you shut up. Don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me what to do. You shut up.
Where did he finish in his first season?
With an FA Cup.
No, not the FA
in the league.
Cup. In the league.
Oh, hey. I thought it was about trophies for a second.
It
is when it suits you.
Trophy I asked you about where Emery finished.
Right.
I didn't talk about trophies, did I? Talk about
he didn't win any at Arsenal.
Fuck me, you just sunk yourself, fella. You just sunk yourself because he finished 8th, fucking 5th, right? Second.
And where did Emery finish? Where did Emery finish?
5th. I just told you.
It took Arteta 3 years to match his points total.
Have you actually got open your ears up, fella? Because at the end of the day, you just sunk yourself. Right?
I don't understand what you're talking garbage. Excuse me if garbage don't enter my ears. You just asked me where did Emery finish. You spoke about 5th, like 5th was some good thing. Emery took this club to a final in a competition that Emery wins. Emery's known to win this competition. He goes into the competition and gets us slapped by Chelsea.
He hasn't won it, has he? He hasn't won it because I asked you and you didn't know where Arteta finished for 2 seasons, 8th and 8th. You didn't know it. All
right, what was your point? Exactly.
I just said it, for fuck's sake.
Your point didn't bang. Try again. Try again. Your point didn't bang. Try again.
You should shout it over him, maybe. That's fine.
I'll be quiet. I'll listen to him. Go on.
Come on, man.
Go on, talk. You got the stage.
Shut up. Can you just wind it in a little bit?
Oh, come on, Jez. Let's not do that, Jez. Come on, let's not do that. A bit of respect, Jez.
Shut up and let me speak.
Jez, don't do that, Jez. You're a big man.
Fuck off.
No
you're rattled, Jez. Jez, you're rattled.
Let's not fall out. The point, Jez.
Jez, you're rattled, aren't you, Jez?
Shouting over someone is not winning a debate, mate.
I'm not shouting over him. I told him to speak. He told me to shut up.
Yeah,
I told him to speak.
Then you kept shouting. You're still doing it.
Let's leave.
He told me to shut up. You can't tell me to shut up. Jez, who the hell are you, Jez? You can't never tell me to shut up. Have some manners.
Calm.
Who's
Calm. Stricto. Calm down.
Calm, bro.
The point is, Strict, I think, is that Emery was obviously came in at 5th. He was then gone. Yeah, and it took Arteta 3 seasons to get to where Emery was when he was sacked. That's the point that we're making, right?
Exactly.
So that's being made. So that the point. Look, I kind of agree. We are top of the league, and it is a pessimistic show at times, but that can be because there's some problems. We're talking about the problems in our attack, and I do think there's problems in our attack. And if I'm honest with you, I actually do think there's still problems, even though we are top of the league, and we might win the league, and there still might be some issues that we can improve on. Like, if we won the league by 12 points, I'll be saying, right, how can we win it by 20? That's the sort of attitude I have, right? So I'll always be looking at it. Let's calm down in the chat as well, me. Mods, get rid of some of these people, man, that are swearing at people. It's just not what people come on for. People ain't coming on here to get sworn at. Yeah, let's just calm down. Look, we're in a position. I'll bring Kenny in into the madness, Kenny. What are you saying, bruv? Because a lot of people are saying, calm down, we're top. It's all happening. It's all good. It's 3 points, we move. Some people are saying there's problems and I'm worried and I think we need to sort it out. Which side of the fence are you at, bruv?
Well, let's be honest. We've only the games that stood out this season have been Nottingham Forest, who I thought we were fantastic. Bayern Munich, Atletico Madrid, I thought we were better. And Newcastle, I was really pleased with that situation. We've just done enough to win, and at times it served us. But I think since Sunderland, teams are working us out. It's not the low block. It's teams are getting in our faces, they're pressing us and getting bodies forward. And that's where we kind of struggled this season. Yeah, we are top of the table, but we are going in a bit of a rut. You take away the Tottenham performance, take away our performance in Europe, in the league, it hasn't been impressive. The Wolves game wasn't good. No one was happy with that. You could say, we prevailed in the end, the results went our way, but every Arsenal fan, regardless of where you sat on the fence, were livid. They were livid in the ground. The people I spoke to since then weren't happy with that performance. It was bad. It was bad. We just thought that we had to turn up, turn Wolves over, and it wasn't the case. There are issues with Victor Gyokeres, issues with Eze in terms of how they play. Yes, they have to fall within the way Arsenal play. I was saying it for time. I sleep well at night. Because I did tell a lot of fans, I'm not saying I told you so, but in this occasion I have to. I always said that this Victor Gyokeres thing won't work because Arsenal don't play that way. We've kidded ourselves to say, we need a striker. We've got all these chances that we're not putting in. Arsenal have never played with a traditional striker since the Van Persie and Adebayor days. The way Arteta plays is split striker, false number 9. And that if you think that Gyökeres is going to come to Arsenal, he's going to change the way we're going to change for him, it's not going to happen. The reason why I've got a beef for Arteta, because I always say to myself, if you don't fancy a player, don't get him. If you don't fancy Eze, you don't fancy Gyökeres, what's the point of getting them? Because at the end of the day, you're not going to change the way you play. You're under pressure to win trophies. So you're going to have a dog-eat attitude. Players like Mourinho, the way we play, and not so much Kai Havertz has been injured all season, but when we see Mourinho, we do a lot of better attacking force. So that's where I've got a bit of beef. But at the end of the day, Everton's going to be crucial. The games against Villa is going to be very crucial. And where Arsenal are suffering at the most is fatigue. We've got a lot of players looking like they're burnt out. Declan Rice looks burnt out. Players are playing with injuries. And the reason why that's happening is because regardless of whether we say we've got a great squad or not, there still seems to be a divide between the first team and the second team in that we may say that ability-wise it's like for like. But tactically, some of these players who come in aren't getting it. And that's why Arteta's forced to play these players. Now, is that Mikel's fault? Because it's a trust issue, or is it because he's under pressure? He thinks, right, I can't trust Victor, I can't trust Eze. We've got to play that way because I've got to win a title this season. It's a bit of both. But one thing I will say is that we can't just win the league by just getting by. The performances have to improve. Attacking wise, even though we're winning games, the output's pretty poor. Because defensively, we're very, very solid. We don't really play teams that get bodies forward and put us under pressure. The teams that have got bodies forward and put us under pressure, we struggled with. But the only team to actually punish us is Villa. So all I'm saying is that all these people say that the title's going to be over by April, maybe March. No. This is going down the wire. But we've got to get better. We've got to start playing better, because if you get into bad habits when you're winning, look what happened in 22, 23, when we were getting the bad. Eventually, it bit us up the arse. Bournemouth, we won 3-2. Bad habits. Villa away, bad habits. Look what happened. Look what happened. It began to catch us up at Anfield, Upton Park, Southampton at home. And then when you're still in these bad habits, the wheels came off. And I'm praying it doesn't happen. But if we're complacent and we start thinking, well, we're still tight, everything's okay. No, it's not okay. Because bad performances and scratchy performances catch up with you. And we've seen evidence of that. The reason why we didn't win the league in 23, 24 and 22, 23 is because certain bad habits caught up with us and we lost the league. If you want to say bottle it, yeah, I think we bottled it. So this season, I'm praying we don't do that. But it will happen again if the performances don't improve, if the goal output doesn't improve. That's why I've got concerns.
Listen, I think you're talking facts there, Ken. Brandon, I know you've got to go. Big up to you, bruv. I really appreciate you jumping on, man. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next week, bro.
No worries at all. Big up, guys. Big up, guys.
Yeah.
And
Nice one,
keep doing what you're doing, Popsy.
Love, man. Take care, brother. Take care, man. Look, let's we're gonna come to a bit of a close, because obviously we wanted to have a shorter show tonight, and I appreciate all of you guys for jumping on for some part of it. Let's look towards the weekend, because it's going to be a huge game. Manchester City play West Ham first, which means they can stay top for hopefully only a few hours. When we go into that game, we potentially be second, and there'll be a hell of a lot of pressure on it. Now, Everton are missing some players. Jack Grealish are out. Dewsbury Hall looks to be out, and they've got Garner Gay and Njai both gone to the African Cup of Nations. So now there's 4 or 5 players out there that are really key for how Everton play. That doesn't mean, however, that Arsenal are going to blitz them. Look, David Moyes has had Arteta's number a couple of times over the last few years for West Ham, and obviously now that he's a manager of Everton, I think he's done very well there. And I don't think it's the player quality that could beat us. I think it's the system that could beat us, and actually the system that could potentially fail for us, as it did against Wolves. What are our thoughts on this one? I'll come to you, Shane, and we'll go around quick. What are you saying for this game, bruv?
Yeah, listen, I don't have a good feeling. I've only predicted twice this season that we'd lose. One was the Villa, and one was the Newcastle. I was wrong with the Newcastle one. I thought, like on McKennie, that was a fantastic performance the way we came back in that. The Villa one, I just had a bad feeling. It's same with, like you said, about Moyes having his number. Emery has his number, and I was just worried about it. But this one, I'm worried. And you know what the funny thing is? I think with Everton's players out, their attacking players, enjoys the great, if Grealish possibly, and Dewsbury Hall, that could backfire on us in that they lock up and they don't try and come out, and that could backfire on us as in we don't win, so we could end up drawing. I think if they had their full team, in a weird way, it might suit us a little better today, because they're at home. They might try and come out and they might try and do something. I think now that they'll have to bring in what you would call, I suppose, with all due respect, lesser players, he might go, we don't really have what it takes here to go with them. Let's sit in and try and hit them on the counter-attack. So in a weird way, it could backfire on us. Probably not, but, you know, I don't have a great feeling about it. I'm looking at the fixtures coming up, and people can dress it up all they want that we weren't however many points there. We're in the middle of a stumble here. And with the injuries coming in, and I don't want to ever hear that as an excuse, because we all know why we're getting injuries. I worry about this game. I just think with Everton away, under the lights, Moyes, Arteta, I'll tell you one thing, it'd be a massive win if we get the win. It'd be a massive win. And it's one of those games that the first goal is going to be huge in this game. If we get it, I think we could lock up. It depends we don't even know what defenders we'll have going into the game now with Ben White out as well. So I do worry about it. I really do. And it would be such a big win because of the fixtures that we have coming up. Villa coming to the Emirates, you know, Forest away, all of these games that we potentially slip up in. So I think it'd be a close game. I just have a sneaky feeling it might end in a draw, and that to me will be devastating, because City will be top. If we draw, they'll be top. So if they win, obviously, if they win against West Ham, but the way they're playing, I don't really see any problems. I have a bad feeling about it. I hope I'm wrong. I hope that we can go there and open up. I hope he can see what I just said, that there's a good chance that they might lock up and say, listen, let's not be cautious. Let's try and hit them early and get a couple of goals and then sit back. But I just have a bad feeling. I think draws are going to do us again this season. And this for me, it has draw written all over it. And again, I hope I'm wrong, but just everything. Maybe it's a bit of PTSD from the way we've been playing recently, but it has to end somewhere. The sort of the bad form we've been in, league form. But yeah, I don't have a great feeling to draw for me, man.
What are you saying, D?
They got loads of players missing, though.
Yeah, we said
that's
4 or 5 players out. But I think where Shane is saying, and I agree, is it's the system that can beat us, not the player quality. Like, don't get me wrong, I obviously want them to not have Grealish and not have Dewsbury Hall, but I don't think that we look at the Everton side and go, yeah, those 5, that we ain't beating those 5. I think it's the system, that Moyes' system, that's caught us out. I never looked at the West Ham side when they beat us and went, God, I wish they didn't have 4 of them players, because that's the reason they beat us. It was the system and the formation. So I think for me, that's where I'm at. But what are you saying for this game, D? You confident, bruv?
I'm much more confident now. They haven't got Ndai, they haven't got a Gyökeres, they haven't got potentially Grealish, I'm much more confident about those players. Even when West Ham used to give us problems, it's a lot easier game without Gyökeres in the midfield. Like, it's just the way it is. They've got 4 or 5 of their best players out. It's a completely different game. It's like when Man City plays Sunderland away. I was looking at that game like a sticking point. Sunderland have got 9 players missing for the Africa Cup of Nations. That's a lot of players. That's a lot of players. It's a completely different game. 8 or 9 players are not going to be there. So, as much as we say, yeah, it's the system that is, these players, Grealish is a big difference. And Dye is a big difference. Idrissa Gueye is a big difference. Dewsbury Hall's a big difference. There's a lot of players missing. So, we're favourites for this game, man. We're favourites for this game purely for that. If they were there, I think it'd be a lot trickier game. But we're favourites for this game because those guys are missing, man. And
Nah, look, we've got to win the game, but it ain't going to be easy, and we ain't played there yet. This is a new stadium. Jez, what are you saying for this game, bruv?
Yeah, I've got to get back to the same fact that I said earlier. The fact is we've got a broken system. It don't work. It proved that against Wolves, and it proved it against Aston Villa. So I'm going to be positive on this one, and I'm going to go for a unbelievable 1-1, because I don't think going to that new stadium, we've never played there before, it's going to be a tricky day out.
How's that positive? How's that positive?
Because it's not a loss.
Yeah, it's not hard work, is it, to work it out, really?
Well, a draw at Everton is a positive result.
Well, it's not a loss, is it, for fuck's sake? You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Because I could be saying we're going to lose 1-0. So it's a 1-1. So it's a positive. It's not good enough for us, right? But this system is shit. This manager is shit. It's proven it. So at the end of the day, 1-1 is positive, because at the end of the day, I could say we're going there and losing 1-0. I'm not saying we're going to lose 1-0. Yeah, but at the end of the day, the manager's crap, and he's proven it. So what are you telling me? What are you telling me? I'm just going to go 1-1, because at the end of the day, we've never been there before. Moyes knows how to beat Arteta, right? Been there, seen it, done it, right? At the end of the day, I'm going 1-1, and hopefully we walk out of there with a win, right? I hope we walk out of there with a win, because if we don't win, Man City, beg your pardon, are catching us up rapid quick, as they've done before in December, and overtaken us in January, right? But at the end of the day, I'm not being ultra positive, because I'm thinking I've seen it all before. I've seen it all before. We've done it for the last 3 bloody years. This manager is shit. Right? To me,
a 1-1 is not positive. If we're saying that too many draws last season was the reason we didn't win the league,
it's positive if you think
having a 1-1.
It's not positive if you think what we've done against Aston Villa and bloody Wolverhampton Wanderers, right? Yeah. So getting a win out of Everton at their ground, where we haven't been before, on this new ground, yeah, that's a positive. Because at the end of the day, I'm hoping, right, we're going to get a win and walk away with 3 points. We need the 3 points, but I'm being a realist, D. I'm being a realist.
If we draw, you'll be happy then.
Unlike you that live in cloud cuckoo land.
If we draw, you'll be happy.
No, he said he'd be happy with a win.
Of course, I'll
He's
be
just giving a
happy if
prediction.
we win.
He's just giving a prediction.
He said the draw was positive. So if we draw,
Given the circumstances, yeah.
Yeah, so he'd be happy.
Look, fella, don't come me on that one, fella. Right? I've been to more games than you've had fucking roast dinners. And at the end of the day, I want Arsenal to win every fucking game. Right? That's how I've always been brought up and how I've lived with Arsenal. Yeah. So I'm being level-headed about what we're doing right now with this broken system that Arteta is doing. Okay, so I'm saying 1-1. Hopefully, we'll get a 2-3-1 win. Positive. There you go.
Okay. What are you saying, Kenny?
Thing about it, so my biggest worry is that when you got a team like Everton that rely on set pieces, you need your best defence out with you.
Mm-hmm.
The only defender we've got is we've got Saliba. He's coming back from injury. I suspect he's still carrying something.
Yeah.
Hincapié, and then it's a situation that thank God we got Calafiori. Thing is, we've got to improve, mate. We've got to play well to win there. We've got to, get back to the way we play. I've got suggestions as well. People are not going to like it, but I won't play Victor Gyokeres. I'll play Mourinho up there, and in order to get our attackers there, runners in, because I think without Gay, we can get our runners forward. It's nothing to get Victor Gyokeres. It's just I want a result. It's not personal. I just want to win, and I think that if we can move the ball quicker, get our attack, get our bodies forward, then I'll drop Victor. And I think that's where we'll win the game. But we've got to be very careful with set pieces because we haven't got our main man at set pieces. And Everton, especially on their set pieces, you've got to watch Tarkowski and Keane. But I'm going to go 1-0 Arsenal. But it's not going to be pretty or easy.
Okay. I think that's realistic. I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I don't think it ever is against Everton, to be fair, because David Moyes sets up that way. But Stricto, are you optimistic going into this one, brother?
Yeah, to be fair, I'm positive. Everton's new ground. I think I just checked, they've won 4 games there all season. That's equally as a new ground to them as it is us as well. Let's also factor that in. This isn't a stadium where they've made home quite yet. Like I said previously, it's like when you buy new shoes, you still got to break into them before they get comfortable. And I think factor that plus the fact they've got Ndiaye out, which means they don't really have an outlet. If they're going to defend and play that low block, it really works well when you've got an outlet, someone who can make things happen. Can push them up the field 50 yards. Get a set piece or win a corner, and then they get their score from set pieces. I think that sort of kills their defensive and their offensive ability. Listen, I think, and I agree with everything Uncle Kenny said there. I would drop Gyökeres and go for a proven medicine. He seems to do the business whenever he's trusted up top. And who knows? It might be a case of Mourinho starts well, gets a couple, and we control the game, and then maybe you bring Gyökeres in, and Gyökeres comes in and tips in as well. So it's. But I definitely agree. I wouldn't start with Gyökeres in this game. I would start with Mourinho. He's trusted, and again, as I keep saying this is a season that we have to win. Like trying too many things at once might be a detriment to might be bad for us. So yeah, so in this game, I think the fact they've got a lot out, I do think they're gonna sit deep a lot. With that and no outlet, I think we can punish them. You saw how that worked against us when we had no outlet against Villa, and Villa got the last minute goal. When we had no outlet against Wolves in the late dying minutes of the game, and they scored. So sometimes not having an outlet at times can work against you. You can't defend for 90 minutes. You still need to be able to push your players forward. So I think, given that, I think we can beat them 3-0.
Okay. I'd love to see a 3-0. I'd love to see a convincing one. I actually think that we should go with Mourinho as well and bring Gyökeres on and try and get him to earn his kind of place in the first team. Because I know Mourinho was poor against Aston Villa, but it's the only 45 minutes I've seen him poor for some time. He was brilliant against Bayern, brilliant against Spurs, and I think he does at the moment probably suit the system better. Jesus, a lot of people are calling for, but I think right now you don't know what he's going to do over a 60-minute period. We see what he can do in a 15, 20-minute stint. Saka and Trossard either side. Rice and Zubimendi are going to play, in my opinion. I would go with Eza over Odegaard. I'm not feeling it with Odegaard. I know a lot of people say we don't get the press when Eze starts, but I don't know what we're getting from Odegaard at the moment. The guy's got 1 assist this season, and that was a last-minute cross from a corner for Gabriel Taylor against Newcastle. And then you have to go to last season for his last assist, which, funny enough, was against Newcastle at the Emirates, second game from the season. I think the back four, Timber, Saliba, and Capie, Calafiori, I think that picks itself due to injuries at the moment. And David Raya in goal. I think that's what I'm going to be. I would probably look to go with, but I think he'll probably start Gyökeres, if I'm honest, and try and stick with him, if to be fair. But look, we've got a few draws there. We've got a few wins. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a 1-1 because I feel like we've been here before. This was a similar kind of playing Sunderland away, Stadium Alive, should beat him. Everyone thought we were going to, and then we dropped the ball. We've obviously not played well in the last game against Wolves, but we can't be as bad as that. Like, we need a reaction from this. I suppose the only positive I would say from that game is I saw the reactions from Rice and I saw what Arteta said in the interview, and he said we were way below par. Now, I've seen Arteta come out before and say, that was a good performance. I was happy with it. Nah, I'm not hearing that. It wasn't a good performance. The result you take, because you always take 3 points in your title races. But right now, I need to see a much better performance, and hopefully we get one of those against Everton. Let me do these super chats before we start to come to a close. Where are we with these ones? Danny says, when City go past us, it's done, and so is Arteta. Well, they could go past us this weekend. So let's see where we go with that one. T-Dot says, what will his legacy be when he wins nothing this year? D and Stricto. I think they're asking what happens if, I guess you both agree that if he wins nothing, he goes. Yeah, boys? Strict, D?
Man, I'm not even answering that question, man.
I'm kind of
I think to even give that question an answer, I'm not doing it because I think a lot of these comments tend to think I'm sat here happy with us not winning anything. So I'm not answering that question.
All right, sweet. That's fair. Okay. So Suj, big up. Is any system perfect? No, but we have not won anything in 6 years. The issue is we're not flexible to change mid-game when things are not working. I agree. I actually think I'd like to see that more from Mikel Arteta at times. Maybe we can tweak stuff a little bit more. I've seen him bring on subs, which I've liked, but maybe we could look at tweaking it to try and get the best out of it. I do agree with that. Nick says Wenger was criticised for not adapting. To be fair, Wenger was at the end of his just playing one-way football. He was turning into bloody Ange at one stage, just going attack. But I still think he would absolutely, I've got to be honest, I think we'd be beautiful to watch with this squad under Wenger. Got to be honest. But there we go. Troy says Arteta would have relegated Villa and Newcastle. I don't know if we know that. I think that might be a little bit of a push. Troy also says Arteta's first manager in history to spend $1 billion and win 0. Well, hopefully that changes this year. SG says, question to the panel. If Arteta left Arsenal, name the managers you would want at Arsenal. For me, I would take Luis Enrique. I would take Hansi Flick. I'd take Carlo Ancelotti. And people might laugh, but I'd take Conte because he wins now, whatever you give him. Because he can win with McTominay and Lukaku. He's going to be able to win with what we've got. I just say those are the CVs. I like their CVs. That's what I look at. I look at CVs because I think now it's about getting across the line. And I think those managers have done it. Anyone else got any names they want that I've missed?
Those are good days. But what I was saying now is that regardless of what happens, this season, he won't. No man. I don't see Arteta doing anything more than 10 years at this football club because the simple reason is that it's from the way managers or head coaches work now. I think the cycle for any manager, even when they win things, is 4, 5, 6 years.
Yeah.
He's by the next season, it'll be 7 years. By that time, it could be a case of him saying, "Look, I'm done here. I can't. I'm exhausted." You know what I mean? But this season, if he doesn't win anything, I think he'll fall on his sword. Because I think that everyone in the football club is so pessimistic with the squad we have, regardless of where you are on the fence. I'm talking about from my own perspective. I'll just lose all confidence in anything. If we can't win this season, then my confidence just be at all-time low, because I just think, well, we're never going to win it because this is our best chance. And if it can't happen now, when is it going to happen? I think I'd be so despondent. And that's just me. Can you imagine what it would be like for the players and the manager?
Basically, what Kenny's saying is he would take Cesc Fabregas. That's what Kenny's saying. No,
absolutely not. That man, I'll not have that man at this football club. That treacherous little fart.
Oh dear, I've opened up it now.
Worst behaviour from an Arsenal captain. We're playing Fulham and you're in the Spanish Grand Prix. When we're meant to be, instead of being your teammates now, in the bin, mate. And my dead body is that man getting a job at Arsenal. Not a chance.
I don't think it's happening. Last super chat of the night is Nkapie is no better than Kivior. What do we think about this, by the way? I've heard this before. I don't think Nkapie has been that bad, has he? I don't think he's been shocking.
To me, Dan, my issue with Nkapie is that he gets. I think, and you know what? Here's a compliment for Arteta. If anyone can get it out of him, it's him. But he gets too attracted to the ball, and he gets too attracted to the front man. He's always getting too close to the front man. He's overexcited, it seems. But when he's playing well, he's really good. But a lot of his sort of last-ditch tackles come because he was out of position, or because that's why he's used to play in a centre-back or three. He's perfect, or left back, he's good. But I find that he gets too attracted to the ball. He's like a dog out there chasing it around. But I think if you stamp that out of him, it's kind of like Gabriel when he came in. If you can stamp that out of him, there is definitely a player there. But even if you look at the Wolves goal, he was playing onside because he was hugging into the goal scorer. He's grabbing him. He gets too attracted to the ball too often. But if you can stamp that out of him, then there's definitely a player there. But I just think he's too excitable, I think, for the way we defend. But there's definitely a player there. I wouldn't put him in Kivior's. He's better than Kivior, man. Come on.
Yeah, let me see. Apparently, I missed a super chat from Danny, but I'm sure I read this one out, didn't I? When City go past us, it's done, and so is Arteta. That was the first one I read out. I lie. Maybe I did miss it. Sorry, Danny. Yeah, look, they could do that this weekend, and we have to see what happened. Look, we have to talk about this in May. To be fair, I think we talk about it in May, about who you want as the next manager, whether Arteta's failed or been success achieved, whatever it be. But big ups, Danny. I appreciate it, man.
I think we need another Dubai, mate. After Christmas, another Dubai trip.
Another injury.
No, seriously.
Not a grade 3 hamstring, Kenny.
It was about this time of the year, 2 years ago, that we were running a bit on empty, dropping points, lost 2 games over Christmas, came back in Dubai, looked like $1 million, made one mistake, and it was fatal.
Kenny, with the way he flogs these players, you'd need more than a trip to Dubai to fix them. This squad is absolutely ruined by him. We are going to completely burn out in the next couple of months.
Yeah, I think there's not players running empty.
I don't worry. Do you know why? Actually,
and it's too late to rotate now as well. That's the thing.
Before we close, I don't want another Dubai trip. I'll tell you why I don't want another Dubai trip.
You have to go out the FA Cup and the League Cup.
Exactly, because it means we have to lose and go out of a Carabao or FA Cup or both. Yeah. And I want to be.
Look, we're not going to lose against Portsmouth. We're going to beat Portsmouth. We're going to get the fourth round.
Well, we'll see, man. We'll see. Look, there are some super chats that I have missed. I'm not reading out super chats. I appreciate the donation and the kind. It's very kind of you. I'm not reading out super chats when you're slagging off panelist people. It ain't gonna happen. I ain't gonna do it. I know you're trying to trick me and all that kind of stuff. I read them before. Man. Yeah, I'm not reading out stuff where people are slagging off all of my panelists. They've come on here at their own time. They've given their opinions. If you don't like it, you can just press cross. It really doesn't bother me. I just don't watch. Go put Coronation Street off and chill out. I don't need people like that in the chat. Like,
no, but you know what it's saying? Some people get their kicks from so they can tell their mates that that they've got to one of us. You know what I mean?
No, it's not right, man. Like, it's crazy. Anyway, I thought that had to be said. But listen, people, do me a favor, hit like and subscribe on this one. Make sure you do that. Make sure you check out the channel merch. We're now also on audio platforms. So if you do want to listen without YouTube adverts and stuff, then you can just go onto Spotify, listen to it all the way through. And Football's 12th Man's on there now. Stricto, what you got coming up, bruv? How can people follow you?
Yes, as you lot can see on my screen there, Stricto Strict. As per usual, the channel we do the watch-alongs, Arsenal games, and we do the hate watches for the other games as well, and other content in between. So make sure you lot go over there and subscribe. You know, the top of the top is Guna here, so make sure you're on there, people.
Love Stricto. No, I appreciate
What's
it.
his top bottom goodness?
I can't stop, man.
Shane, what you got coming up, Shane?
Yeah, big up for having me on. Sorry, I was late. I was too busy. Just coming second behind Kenny again, man. I really thought I had him this
well
time.
done, Kenny.
Thought I had him
Well
this
done,
time.
Kenny.
Yeah, he beat me by 4 points, 102 to 98.
You was flying at one stage, Shane. I can't lie. You was smashing.
Yeah,
them
no,
at
the
one stage.
last round caught me out. There was 2 questions where I got caught out. But yeah, no, big up for having me on. Yeah, Shane Gooner every day, every morning, 10:30, except for this morning, actually, we had a power outage, but I did get on in the end for the full Irish breakfast, panel shows, everything over there, man. And big up to everybody for subbing to me. We hit 2K there the other day. So
well
yesterday,
done, man.
I think it was. So yeah, big up to everybody. And yeah.
Well
Big up
done.
to the
Now,
chat,
come on, people. Make sure you go show Shane some love. Shane's a real one. Says how it is. Gets up every morning. And yeah, while you're having a cup of tea and toast, make sure you put Shane on. Jez, likewise, mate. What you got coming on?
Actually, on Thursday night, I'm on with Shano. And I'm just going to say, Stricto, it's not personal, right? I'll just say what I say. And we're going to agree to disagree. It's not a problem. But I've nothing personal against you. And Dan, as always, my friend, thank you for having me on. And I was going to say, Merry Christmas to everybody.
Big up,
Yeah, absolutely. Big up, Jez. Make sure you're following Jez Arsenal and go and check out the quiz. See how many you get.
Stricto, you could actually respond to that.
What's that?
I said Stricto could actually respond to what I just said. No, fair enough.
What?
Never mind. Don't worry about it.
No, I was saying it's not personal, Strict, and he said, "Do you want to reply to what he said? That it's not personal." That I think that's
what's not personal. Sorry, I wasn't listening.
The fallout earlier. He said it's not personal. It's just his opinion's different to you. That was it.
Oh no, listen. We could have different opinion. I got an issue with that. It's just when someone tells me to shut up, it's mad, but cool. I take that. Ain't not unpersonal either. It works both ways, innit? Just less of the telling people to shut up, and just more of agreeing to disagree. And even if you disagree, it's all good. Just
I think in fairness, Stricto, my point I'm trying to make here, it's not nice to overshout people when people are trying to make their own comment, right? And that's the point I was trying to make. I was trying to say what I wanted to say, and all you're doing is overshouting me. I don't do that to people. So at the end of the day, I was trying to make it that be respectful. I'm respectful to you. I'm respectful to Dan. I'm respectful to Kenny. I'm respectful to Shane. You were just overshouting me, and you wouldn't shut up. And I was just calling you out for it. But at the end of the day, look, let's be peaceful.
I don't know. Is this an apology or what's this? You're saying something and then you're saying shut up. I don't understand.
I'm not apologizing to you.
Oh, if you're not apologizing, then keep it. Let's leave it like that.
Fair enough. Okay.
Okay. Let's leave it there. Let's leave it there, man. All right, sweet. Kenny, what are you up to at the moment? Kenny Ken on Instagram. What shows you doing this week?
I've got a show with Deluded Gooner because I think finally we got him out of the Talk Sports studio, so he might be ready to do a show. And I've got something with DJB. But you know what? I'm looking forward. You know what? There's something big is happening. Top Gooners and bottom Gooners. Anthony Joshua is disgracing Nigerians and boxing by fighting this stupid idiot from the USA. And if he doesn't knock him out in the first round, everything I believe in the sport that I love, it doesn't mean anything to me, mate.
It went before that, Kenny.
AJ, and I know, you know what, and I'm going to say one thing there. Everyone in this panel is going to get on Netflix and stay up for it, even though they say
no,
stay up.
No, I won't watch it.
What is this, the AJ Jake Paul thing you're talking about?
If you've got Netflix, you're watching it.
I won't watch it.
I gotta be honest, I ain't gonna watch it. But if I'm trying to fight Tyson Fury next, I ain't bringing them Jake Paul in the ring to start with. That's not how you prepare for Tyson Fury.
Hey, if someone's giving me $70 million to fight Jake Paul, I'm taking it.
Yeah, I mean,
You do it for free, Kenny. You do it for free. You would. I know you would.
No. I don't fight for free. I'm not my age, mate. I've got to think of me pension.
Well, if I had known that, I would have beaten you in the quiz, Kenny. I held back because I thought you'd knock the head off me the next time you saw me. You know.
No, that's cool, mate. No, I don't fight. I'm like David Hay. You don't fight for free.
Yeah. All right, lads, listen, we're going to leave it there, people. Big up to all of you. Make sure you're following every single one of these guys, people. Yeah, make sure you are showing some love, and make sure you're subscribing to all of their channels. Make sure you show some love to us. We're on the way to the big 6-0, and make sure you're following FamZone TV as well, by the way, because obviously they that's what D and the guys are doing over there. So big up to all of you. We'll see you next time. We're out of here, people. Later.
Take care, people. Take care.